What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome to another edition of Movie Trailer Reactions, coming to you from fanboysanonymous.com. I'm your host, Tony Mango, and I'm solo for this episode because the X-Men Apocalypse trailer just dropped, and I want to jump on this immediately, so I haven't even had a chance to ask the other fanboys and fangirls if they have a reaction to this yet, because I just watched it a minute ago, actually, and I'm just going to record my reaction, put it out there, and if we get some other people that have a strong reaction to it as well, then maybe we'll do like a take two or something like that. So, without further ado, first impressions of the trailer. I don't think that this is as good as the Days of Future Past one, and I kind of wasn't expecting it to be as good as that movie either, because that movie was really just, a huge surprise. The trailer itself, fantastic, and the movie just blew me out of the water. The X-Men series kind of in general is sort of like, they have like a good thing and then they have a bad thing, sort of. Like, we had our first two movies, which were pretty damn good. Second one was better than the first one. But then we had X-Men 3 The Last Stand, and that one was just terrible, just absolute garbage. Then we had X-Men Origins Wolverine, that one sucked too, and it seemed like the franchise was pretty dead when they came roaring back with First Class. The Wolverine was actually pretty damn cool, and Days of Future Past just took it to a whole new level. So, really, you can kind of look at this as like, maybe X-Men Apocalypse is going to continue the trend and just keep getting even better and stuff. But I do kind of have some things that I want to nitpick with this one. And it didn't help that pretty much one of my major problems with this is the first thing that you see, and that's Jean Grey. The casting just seems really off to me. I don't buy her as Famke Janssen, especially. Like, she can't really grow into her. A lot of the other people, like, they've done a really good job. Like, they might not necessarily look exactly the same. Like, for instance, the whole idea of Michael Fassbender turning into Ian McKellen, they don't really have the exact same face. And James McAvoy doesn't look exactly like Patrick Stewart, but I sort of buy into them having the same mannerisms and stuff. Sophie Turner does not strike me as the same character. And if you were to tell me that she wasn't Jean Grey, I wouldn't think that she was supposed to be. So I got a feeling that I'm not going to be enjoying her part of the movie, and I don't really know all that much about Sophie Turner, so maybe it's just a Sophie Turner thing, and maybe it's just the choice of actor or something, but I don't know, not digging it. The music is great. That is something that I'm definitely going to download. But then they hit you with another bad one. Apocalypse's voice. Blah. Like, he should be like this booming, god of a voice. And instead it's just kind of like, I used to be raw. I'm not digging that either. Just disappointing. And we got a shot where it just hit me. It was just like, how attractive is everybody on this thing? Moira, Xavier, and Alex in this one shot is just like, Jesus, you all fucking GQ models or something? God damn. Nightcrawler looks great, though. Jubilee looks great. Storm looks awesome. She's had probably the most amount of changes as far as like her appearance goes than anybody on the X-Men cast, and they've gone that Mohawk route, and, that looks cool for her, so, nice job with that one. Also, big fan of the line about how the Bible might have gotten the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse thing from him and his inspiration instead of the vice versa kind of a thing. That's cool. I like that. And that's the right mentality that they should be having for this type of movie. The mutants are like the gods. So if they're going to have this separate universe from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you don't have to actually build up as like other people maybe came along in the past and maybe their inspiration for different things, when Iron Man had his whole stuff, it was like, well, you're not the only superhero. Well, with the mutants, they are the only people. So, well, not the only people, they're the only mutants, I should say that. So, the idea that, like, Apocalypse is the drawing point and whatever, that is something that I really, really like. Then I'm nervous about another thing. This really went back and forth. Things that I like, things I didn't like. I'm nervous that there's going to be too much Mystique in this. I get that Jennifer Lawrence is your biggest star and you need to service her and you really need to give her something to do, but not at the expense of the plot. And I'm worried that her being the leader, it's not really interesting to me. Just the same as I wouldn't want to see Quicksilver suddenly become the leader because everybody enjoyed his scene at the Pentagon last time. And I don't want this to be the Jennifer Lawrence saves the day show. Mystique is a great character, and Jennifer Lawrence is a fantastic actress, but this isn't the Mystique movie. This is the X-Men, and the X-Men should have Xavier as their leader. So it's sort of my speculation. It might be getting in the way. Maybe she's not the leader. Maybe she's just like, I don't know, maybe like at this point of the film, Xavier has been captured by Apocalypse. He's going to get sacrificed or something. And they're all sitting around going, well, we can't do anything because we don't have our leader. And she comes back into the picture and says, well, shit, you guys got to man up and you got to save him because he saved you and all your lives and that kind of a thing. He even saved me. That kind of thing I'm cool with. But if this turns into like, let's follow her story and she's going to get corrupted, but she turns against Apocalypse, I'm not interested. I've seen her as the focal point of Days of Future Past. I've seen her as one of the main focal points of First Class. She should be a focal point, but not the focal point. So maybe I am getting in the way. Maybe my speculation is kind of giving me a negative that isn't really there. But that keeping that in mind, that's something that I might have a problem with later on. So moving on from the Mystique stuff, that shot of Apocalypse growing in size, super fucking cool. I was really kind of worried that they might not have that power in here because it might be a little bit too tricky to do. Maybe with special effects it would look a little hokey and whatever, and it still might, but that is awesome. That's one of his main powers, and it's something from the X-Men animated show that from the 90s that I grew up with, that I was just sort of like, when they do Apocalypse, they have to do that. So very cool to see that. The shot of Quicksilver running looked a little suspicious. Might look cool in the movie, might look weird, I don't know. For some reason, the combination of what he looks like and that shot sort of reminded me of A Clockwork Orange. I don't know why. Maybe that's just weird, I don't know. And then the couple of shots that followed that, there was like 3 shots right after that looked fake as hell. They looked more like motion posters than they did actual movie scenes. And I'm really hoping that those, like, the different elements that are flying behind them, the rocks and stuff, that this is just an early previs kind of thing. I don't want that to be the final product because that is going to look super CGI fake. But the look of Apocalypse, so much better now. He's in this blue hue instead of that purple Ivan Ooze kind of appearance that he had going on. Vast improvement. When I first saw, speaking of first reactions and stuff, when I first saw that at Entertainment Weekly, I think it's what it was, that poster or the magazine, whatever it was, that they had released before, where he looked like this purple Ivan Ooze kind of thing, that really made me nervous about this movie. But this is so much better. I'm still a little disappointed that we don't get the blue lips and stuff like we did before, but maybe he gets that later on. Maybe he had it breaks down that kind of Egyptian flair that he's got going on. Maybe he's got the more mechanical thing or something. I don't know. But definitely a big fan of that. That's a big improvement. And then we got bald Xavier at the end after the bridge gets destroyed again. All right, well, already seen that before, but bald Xavier, pretty sweet. I think that he's looking more the part, and you know what? I'd be cool with them continuing this franchise if that's the direction that they're going. So what am I most excited about in all this? Well, it's probably just the idea of them doing Apocalypse, because the story itself is something that's always really interested me. The idea that Apocalypse is like the originator of all the mutants. He's always been one of my favorite villains from the comics and stuff, and from the animated series, of course. So just, as soon as they announced Apocalypse, I was down. And seeing him in that blue kind of look, it's making me a lot less nervous about the movie than what I used to be. But what am I most nervous about? Jean Grey and Mystique. I just really hope that we don't get too much of the Mystique character, and I really hope that Sophie Turner turns it around. I don't want this Jean Grey that I saw in my trailer. That's not my Jean Grey. My Jean Grey is Famke Janssen, and she's just not measuring up yet. So does this make me want to see the movie more or less? I'm going to vote more. And that's because I had my problems with what I had seen beforehand. Of course, I mentioned the old purple look of Apocalypse and the idea that a couple other people were going to be like, Jubilee's going to be in this? Jubilee's cool, but why is she in this? And that kind of thing. This sells me on it a little bit more. I do think that I'm going to have issues with the movie, and I'm not going to love every little bit of it. Not everything's perfect, of course, but now I'm feeling a lot more confident about Apocalypse himself, and despite the voice and despite some of the little errors here and there that I think might get in the way, I'm down for the movie. So those are my first impressions of the movie trailer. I'm curious about what you guys have to say. Leave those comments below. Tell me what you thought of the first trailer for X-Men Apocalypse. Don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up for this video as well if you enjoyed it. And if you want to see more movie trailer reaction videos, then definitely give it the thumbs up. So that way we actually know that you guys love these instead of maybe the other kind of formats that we've been doing. So stay tuned for more things coming your way for Fanboys Anonymous on the website as well as on the channel itself. And on behalf of myself and everybody who couldn't be here today, thank you for listening. I'm Tony Mango, and I am a fanboy. See you next time, everybody. Geeks out.